last as long as it would if you put the things that go in there very simply. Your body is that juicer. Your body is that juicer, and if you want it to last longer, you have to treat it as well as possible, and that's putting the things in there that are going to go in there as simple as possible. But it's not only the food, it's also the time you eat and what you eat and how you eat that determines how much energy you conserve or waste. What do I mean by that? I don't care what food you're eating. I don't care how good it is for you. If you're eating food right before you go to sleep, you're wasting a tremendous amount of energy. One of the worst things you can do for your health is eat right before you go to sleep. Because that's when the body should be sleeping and resting, not digestion. But people are doing that every day and they're running into a tremendous amount of problems. We continue to look at other reasons why we waste energy. Food combining. If you eat the proper foods in the right order and the right combinations, it digests much more easier. For example, you eat a watermelon with a cantaloupe, they both have the similar amount of liquids in it and they digest in a similar amount of time. Now if you eat watermelon with a banana, they're both great foods separately, but together they make the body work much harder to digest them because they have different amounts of digestive time. Another way to help the body conserve energy is take digestive enzymes with the food. It helps conserve the energy of the body like we discussed. There are many different things to do this. Another common way I found that people don't do, and remember, these are just simple ways to conserve energy with the what foods to eat, what time to eat them, how often we eat, and so on. Here's another one, is I had some dogs, and I would feed the dogs, I would put the food on the floor, and before I got up, the food was gone. And I said I'd never seen somebody eat so fast. Until I went to go eat with people. We need to slow down and realize there's a saliva in our enzyme. There's an enzyme in our saliva that helps us digest the food. When we liquefy that food in the mouth, when it gets to the body, our body has to do less work. Dr. St. Louis Estes wrote a book called Raw Food and Health in the early 1900s, and it stated, any food that's swallowed, that's not properly liquefied, will putrefy or ferment in the system. In other words, it will use a lot of energy that we don't have to use. This is why juicing our foods and blending our foods are so helpful, because it's liquefied before we take it in, so our body has to do less work to break it down. But the real problem is, we simply don't chew our foods well enough. You know, I've had many dogs and I've seen many dogs in my life. I've yet to see a dog do something that I see people do. I've never seen a dog bark with food in its mouth. But I see people talking about food in their mouth all the time. We need to chew our foods. Even if you eat fast, chew your food. I'll wait till the end of the story, chew your food. But that's what people are doing. They're not chewing their food and then they're getting upset stomachs. They're eating right before they go to sleep. They're not eating good food combining foods. They're not eating the foods that have the liquid in them, and then they worry why they wonder why they don't feel good. So then they watch the news so somebody can tell them what they've done wrong, making it even worse. I've seen this thing on TV the other day, I couldn't believe it. They have this thing to exercise. For your own stomach, and it makes you do exercise if you're too tired to do exercise. Now you just put a thing in the stomach and it exercise for you. I couldn't believe it. I was at somebody's house. They were actually eating while they were watching that thing on TV with the thing on their stomach. And they were wondering why they weren't losing weight. You know, if things are too simple, there's probably a reason why. And that's how crazy this world is today. We have to eat the foods that have the most nutrients, the fruits, the vegetables, the live sprouts. And we have to eat them in a way that's going to conserve our energy, not waste our energy. That is the key. That's two parts of it. And then the third part is keeping the environment of the body as clean as possible. The foods that will support a clean environment. I can just give you one hint. It wouldn't be dead animals. It wouldn't be anything other than fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds that produce the probiotics and the enzymes in the system to help maintain a good environment and a good body. Now, can somebody eat meat? Can somebody eat animal products and be healthy? Absolutely. Absolutely you can. If you follow all the other principles of health here, by not overeating, not eating late at night, you can certainly eat some cooked food. You can certainly eat some animals if you choose to. You can eat some bread if you want to. But the majority of your diet should be these foods that keep the environment of the system, the environment of the body clean. And those are the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, and the seeds, and the sprouts. Now, we look at keeping the environment of the body clean, we look at two things. The first thing we look at is the bacteria in the body. If you have a healthy gut with good bacteria, good strands of bacteria, which is known as probiotics, your body is going to be in a state of health. And if you eat something bad or you have a parasite or something goes wrong, your body is going to be able to fight it off very simply. But if you have a toxic environment, if you have too much bad bacteria, it creates an environment for candidas and yeast infections and all these other things to grow and multiply. And candida, and it just takes over. The majority of people today suffer from these things because they're not taking care of the environment of their body. And the other thing it means is the condition of our blood. Dr. Otto Warburg, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, stated years ago, cancer can only thrive in a non-oxidative environment. Well, every disease, from candida to cancer and everything in between, can only thrive in a non-oxidative environment. What does that mean? That means if you have a blood system with less oxygen than supposed to be in there because of your overeating and foods putrefying and fermenting, you're going to suffer from disease much quicker than if you had a well-oxidated system, a system with a lot of oxygen in it. Well, how do we get that? We look at the foods we eat. What foods produce fermentation and what foods reduce them? Well, the foods that produce them are many different foods, but of all the foods that produce fermentation, sugar is the most deadly because it ferments quicker than any other substance on the planet. So when we eat a diet that has too much sugar in it, we run into problems. But it's not only the processed sugar. It's not only the sugar that's found in starches that convert to sugar in the body quite regularly quickly. It's also the sugar found in massive amounts in the hybridized fruit that's out there today. This is why I say the fruit is different today than it was 100 years ago. An apple is 50 times sweeter today than it was 100 years ago. And I know a lot of people that they go from eating McDonald's and then they switch to eating a lot of fruit, and that's a step in the right direction. But eventually they got to cut down on the fruit because it has too much sugar, and they have to start eating some healthier choices. The healthiest choices for our body are the sprouts. The green sprouts, the wheatgrass, the sunflower sprouts, the sea vegetables. You know, most people don't know how important these greens are and the sea vegetables are. I didn't know what sea vegetables are when I started eating this way. You know, I was asking everyone. I kept hearing, I interviewed all these people. Everyone told me to eat sea vegetables. I was going out to everyone, what are sea vegetables? And then one day somebody told me, they threw a whole bunch of vegetables in front of me. They said, you see? Sea vegetables are another way to say seaweed. They say, you mean that stuff you kick on the beach? That's exactly what I mean. And then people with the excuse, oh, I can never eat that, I hate that. And then they go eat sushi. Guess what that's wrapped in? We have to understand these things are the highest quality foods you can eat from the ocean are the sea vegetables, not the sea fish. The highest quality foods you can eat from the land are the wild edible green herbs and so on. And the sprouted nuts and seeds and fruits and vegetables and grains and beans. Sprouted, raw, uncooked. These are the highest quality. Is it available to us? Not only is it available to us, it's the cheapest way to eat, the simplest way to eat, and the quickest way to eat. You can get 1 pound of sprouts and make over 5 pounds of food. And has more nutrition than any other food you can buy anywhere. But people are just complaining and saying this and saying that, and making excuses and so on. We have to understand this if we want to be healthy. We all have the capability and the opportunity to do this. We need to keep the condition of the blood clean. And we can make this happen. So now we have this formula for health. Now we have the equation to get the formula for health, eating the foods that are going to give us the most nutrients while using the least energy to get those nutrients, while keeping the environment of the body as clean as possible. And by the way, when you eat raw foods, it makes you talk very fast. But we're in the Northeast, so I can get away with that. So we need to make sure we do this. Now I'm going to give you 4 steps to make this happen. I'm going to give 4 steps how we can all start this in our lives immediately. Step number 1, eliminate the cause. Eliminate what caused the problem, and the problem will begin to go away. Eliminate the cause, that's step 1. It doesn't only have to be food, but it usually is food. We need to eliminate the cause, and the problem will begin to go. I don't care how good you eat, if you're going to work every day doing something you don't like to do, you're not going to be as healthy as you can be. Then some people say, oh,